What's up, Legion? Welcome back to another exciting episode of I Still Call It a Lariat. We are a pro wrestling podcast. We are the mediumest pro wrestling podcast in the world. And today, Steve Zapf, will be talking about Progress Wrestling and their Chapter 183 High Voltage. This was from the Camden Electric Ballroom on August 26, 2025. As I've said, we are starting to review Progress on the regular. I love this promotion. I love that we have a connection with them right now. They put on a really, really cool, awesome, old school style show. It's these little nuances that they do in the UK that I absolutely just love. The crowd is just off the charts every time they're there. They come out. It's just so cool. I implore you to check out their on-demand product. The link will be down below for that as well. But with all that said, let's get into Progress. And the show opened with a three-way match for the Atlas title. This was Mike D. Vecchio defending the title against Gene Money and Will Cruz. The match starts with Cruz and Gene Money jump starting in the aisle before Mike even gets there. There is a background between Cruz and Gene. They were part of the same family, the same stable. I will say Gene Money is very smooth in the ring. This match is very hard hitting. It has a lot of good smash mouth with these big guys. Will Cruz is a different looking worker. I like his look, but he doesn't have a very intimidating look about him. And I say that maybe that's what he's going for, but just something about him. I didn't see him getting mad didn't worry me. And I don't know if that's what he's going for, or maybe it's not. And this is something that we can critique just a little bit. Overall, the match was good. Will Cruz sells very well and does good work in the ring. Mike D is scary, strong, and athletic. And at the end of this match, Gene Money actually steals the win after Cruz has it all won. We get a new champ. And afterwards, Will Cruz cuts a promo. It's a little bit too dry for my taste, but it gets over with these fans. I will say this. They were saying that this might be the last time Mike DiVecchio is in the ring for Progress for a while. I don't know if he's going away for a reason other than maybe getting picked up by one of the bigger promotions, whether it be something like a New Japan, AEW, WWE, NXT, TNA, whatever it is. But he has a great look and is super athletic. I think he will do well wherever he ends up landing. So brand new Atlas champion though, and that is going to be Gene Money. Can't wait to see what they do with this. I like this idea of the Atlas title being kind of the anti-cruiserweight title. You have to be a heavyweight to wrestle for this belt. Next up, we have a women's singles match. This is going to be Lana Austin versus Alexis Falcon. I believe it's Falcon. I don't think it's Falcone. I'm sorry if it's Falcone, by the way. I appreciate how entertaining Lana Austin is. My issue with her entrance is that if she's trying to be a heel, she needs to maybe not have such a fun entrance. And again, maybe that's just me being a big stupid American and not getting the again little nuances of UK style wrestling. But if she is supposed to be a heel, I would not want the crowd singing and clapping along with my entrance. I was very excited to watch this match. This is the first time I've gotten a chance to see the women's division outside of the women's title match that we saw last month. At least a real example of it. Alexis has really smooth movements. This match has a beautiful start, and at the end, Alexis Falcon wins a pretty good match with them setting her up for a shot at the women's title eventually. And I think that'd be really fun to watch. I think Alexis, she has that very smooth European UK style to her ring work, and I'm excited to see what she does because it's a very, very different style than what we will talk about later with Rio and Kanji. So I'm excited to see where they go with Alexis at this point. The next match, this is kind of the big one for them, even though it's not their heavyweight title. The 4-way match for the Proteus title. This is going to be Paul Walter Hauser from Fantastic Four, Cobra Kai, Kingdom, a very, very established, famous actor, is their Proteus champion. He is defending against Bullet, Simon Miller, and Charles Crawley. I have loved Paul Walter Hauser for so long, and the fact that he is doing this with wrestling, but he's also a fan, is amazing to me. Bullet reminds me of Michael Elgin from back in early Ring of Honor days. And I said this last month, I'm going to say this month. Charles Crawley is a star. The twat gimmick that he does, the twat gimmick that he does, it reminds me of when Ken Anderson was in TNA and he was doing the asshole gimmick. I love the crowd chanting singing anyone but Bullet. Paul Walter Hauser does show his inexperience during this match, but the rest of the group does a very good job of leading him. So they cover it nicely, but you can see a little bit of miscues and some mistiming. For a guy that's only had a few matches, it's understandable, and he's a big star. Bullet's spine buster is beautiful. It was one of those things of beauty, like an Arn Anderson spine buster. It looks nasty as hell. And Charles Crawley doing the balloon spot during it was the perfect level of comedy.
This before as well. Oh, a huge leg drop from Bullet. Night. And there you go, the helium coming to the aid. And the shoulders up again.
Talk about bad comedy all the time. This was not bad comedy. This is right in line with what his character is. At the end of the match, Paul Walter Hauser ends up actually retaining it, and he gets a pin with the most obvious handful of tights I've ever seen, which is kind of awesome too. And after the match, as everyone's leaving, the crowd is still cheering for Charles Crawley. I am saying this. WWE, AEW, TNA, whoever it is, needs to reach out to this man and get him. His gimmick will translate to America. He has the potential to be a huge, huge star. And I just think if they get him now and they can possibly just tweak a thing or two here or there, huge star all over the world. But this was a fun match to watch. I really like the dynamic of Bullet, and even I didn't mention much on Simon Miller. He's probably the one that everyone will be the most familiar with from What Culture and everything else that he does online. But they were the two big powerhouses in this match, and they definitely showed it. If, like I said, guys, please check out Progress's product. It is so good and so different from what we're watching over here in the States. It's the closest thing that you'd see to this over here is TNA right now. And again, I think the crowds are just hot. I think it's one of those things where when you get a hot crowd, you get a hot match a lot of times, and that's what we're getting right now. So the next match on this card is going to be for the Progress Women's World Title, and that is going to be Rio defending against Kanji. This is a singles match. They were in a triple threat last month, and there was a weird finish to it. So they are going to settle things one-on-one this time. Going into this match, I was very excited to see what these two can do in a one-on-one match. Rio has such a different look about her as far as comparatively to other wrestlers in the world, especially in the US. I would love to see her mix it up with like a Masha Slamovich or Jordan Grace. I think that would have a real nice smash mouth style to it that would look very interesting. She has this menacing, dangerous appearance. And during right in the start of the match, Kanji has to be quick and use technique while Rio is using that smash mouth style. I like that during the match, they acknowledge the count for outside the ring, and they roll in to break it. During the whole match, Kanji is actually working Rio's arm, which makes it awesome when Rio does a gorilla press and tosses her out of the ring. The psychology of Kanji just going back to the arm and going back to the arm and going back to the arm. Not a lot of people work an arm nowadays, and I love to see it sometimes. Like it's one of those things that comes in a little under the radar when you are watching wrestling nowadays, because most people work a leg, a lot of people work a neck. Working an arm is something that you don't see as often. And during this match, it gets to a point where they're kind of just beating on each other and really turning this into a fight, a down and out fight. And at the end, we get Rio defending the title or retaining the title after getting a referee stoppage. She literally mounts the Kanji on her back and just starts raining down forearms and elbows to where the base of her neck, skull and spine would be. Kanji is not defending herself, so the referee stops the match. I thought this was a very interesting way to end the match. I thought this is something different that we don't see very often. And so long as you don't see it all the time, or this needs to be what Rio does from now on, is she gets an actual knockout victory. But if we only see this every so often, I think this is a really cool ending to any match that they do. I would love to see who in the US promotions could pull this off as well as they did here. Rio gives Kanji a little nod of respect as she's exiting the ring, and as Kanji looks like she's finally starting to get a little bit of her senses back, out comes Nina Samuels and jumps Kanji and just leaves her laying and lets us know that next month, back at the Electric Ballroom, Nina Samuels and Kanji are going to run this match back that apparently they have had a huge history. Again, I apologize for not being more up on this, as I am just starting to get into Progress myself, but I encourage all of you to go back and watch all of this stuff, because like I said, this is a really interesting promotion. They're doing a lot of good work here. I'm excited. This Nina Samuels Kanji match gets listed as a loser leaves Progress match. So let's see where this ends up going and how they further this feud. If whoever it is going somewhere else. All right, the next match on our card is going to be Ricky Knight Jr., RKJ, versus the Royal Black Swan, Cara Noir. I said this last month. I will say this again. I love Cara Noir's gimmick. I hope I want to see if he can bounce back from this string of losses that he's had. Ricky in the very beginning of the match has a little bit of a nervous look when they do the stare down in the center of the ring. I think it works in this case. And as we get into this match, these two guys are just cooking. This match is very enjoyable. The entirety of the match, how they work it, the level of viciousness that they do, along with the level of technical wrestling skill that they incorporate, is exactly the type of match I love to watch as a fan. You start to see cracks during the match, though, in Cara Noir's personality and his demeanor. And if I can critique it all, at a little later in the match, when they start to do some certain spots, it does look a little bit too choreographed, but I'm getting nitpicky. Overall, this match is fantastic. I really, really enjoyed watching this. Cara Noir has something about him that makes me want to watch him again. I liken him to Goldust. Ricky Knight is about to go back to Japan. He ends up winning this match with a Rikishi driver, and he's about to go wrestle for Pro Wrestling Noah, I believe they said, in Japan. And after the match, after Cara Noir loses again, he sits in the middle of the ring and starts wiping his face paint off, leaving his future with Progress being very, very ambiguous. You're not sure where they're going with him, if he's going to continue, if he's retiring, if he's leaving stuff in the ring to say he's retiring. Even the commentators aren't quite sure on what they're doing here. So I'm excited to see where this goes. There is more stuff with Cara Noir as far as later on in the show we find out some stuff, but I believe they went to intermission after this and then came back and they had the tag team title match. This is my introduction to Progress's tag team division, and I'm very hopeful for it since I love tag team wrestling. This match is the Lycos Gym with Kid Lycos and Lycos 2 versus this defending the tag team titles against the Sunshine Machine, made up of Chuck Mambo and TK Cooper. TK Cooper apparently is of Island or Samoan descent. Chuck Mambo is a freak athlete as far as being able to pull off moves. During the match, Chuck Mambo actually hits a springboard blockbuster. I've never seen that done before, and it was so good. Kid Lycos is very, very smooth in that ring. And I will say this, TK Cooper has a great base. I don't know if he needs a little bit more size or just definition on his size, but if he gets that done, either gets a little bigger or just a little bit more shredded, I could see him doing very well with either WWE or AEW. Altogether, I like that these are 4 young guys that are all talented. Both teams work well with their teamwork and doing tag team moves. Unfortunately, a little later in the match, in the later stages of this match, it does become a little bit too much of what I will call a modern style wrestling match. There's a lot of chaos, almost too much chaos, with no real adherence to the rules as far as tags or count or anything like that. It's unfortunately just something that plagues the entirety of the pro wrestling landscape. So even Progress, who I'm very high on and very fond of, is not immune to getting a little bit of critique from me for doing some stuff that I'm not always a fan of. The team Lycos Gym ends up winning the match and retaining the titles. It is suggested that Kid Lycos knocked out Chuck Mambo with either a loaded elbow, a loaded knee. He had done it in the month previous, and the ref checks him and sees that there's no metal piece in his knee pads, and then he removes his arm sleeves so that it's not in there. But it looks like Kid Lycos is turning heel. He seems to be going the route of a little bit more of the cowardly heel. And as he's leaving and comes back to basically get the titles out of the ring, the three men that are left there, Lycos number 2 and the Sunshine Machine, get jumped by a team called returning team called Diamond Eyes. They look awesome. They have a very good, big, athletic man look. They seem like the type of guys that are going to tear through a tag team division. And I'm excited to see where they go from there with these guys now as well. Honestly, I've only seen one tag team match from Progress, and even this one, even though I do critique it towards the end, I'm excited to see what else they have going on, what other teams, what teams they'd be bringing in. And like I said, crowd hot the whole time. The match that follows, the tag team title match after that, we get Charlie Sterling versus Owada-san from New Japan. From Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan, I believe, as well. He is on his sabbatical from Japan, that how many of the younger talent does there. Owada-san, I will give him credit on this. He is a young-looking guy. He appears to be young, athletic, not broken down like a lot of the Japanese wrestlers that I see come over to the States nowadays. I'm a huge fan of Charlie Sterling. I said this last month. I'm going to say this month. I'll say it next month when he wrestles. His look, his presentation, he is a star. I am happy with everything that they're doing with Charlie Sterling. My issue with this match is it feels like a heel match. And the only reason why the crowd is cheering for what Owada-san is doing is because it's to Charlie Sterling, who is probably the one of their top heels, if not their top heel. This match, this is a nice quick match that they do. Owada gets a little bit of shine in it, but this feels like a good way for Progress to keep building the legend of Charlie Sterling. And I think the burn on him is a little slower. And I'll say this, I don't hate that it's a slow burn, because then when he finally gets to the top, I think it's going to stick a little bit more. It's going to be a situation where we didn't need to latch the rocket ship to him. I think if he's just in like a hover jet, it'll be fine. He's moving at the perfect speed for who his character is and what they are doing. All right, folks, we are going to move on, and this is it. This is the match we've all been waiting for. That's right, the main event. This is a TLC heavyweight title match between the champion, Luke Jacobs, and he is defending against man like Darius. Darius gets the star treatment. He gets played to the ring by a violin and a live rap performance. He performs during his entrance. I will say this. I was very excited. I had seen Darius in TNA before. I was excited to see what Luke Jacobs was all about. I said last month, and I'll say it again this month. Progress does a great job at making the gimmick of the match as important as the title that they are going for in this. They did a tables match last month. This month, they're doing this TLC match, and everything that they did revolved around the weapons that were supposed to be in the ring. They didn't go get too many outside weapons. I will say this: in the very beginning of the match, while they're doing introductions, after the entrances, if I was producing Doris, one of the things I would have done differently with him is when they do the entrance or when they do the introduction, I would not have had him put his sunglasses back on with they got the blinking messages on them, or do his little dance while they're giving him his intro. I feel like this is one of those moments that he could have let it breathe without doing anything. And again, I'm nitpicking, guys. Just for the record, Doris, I thought you put on an amazing performance during this match. I do like that the match starts with a little bit of a simmer. They tease the gimmicks of the match, the tables, the ladders, the chairs. They don't hit it right. They don't hit that stuff right away. During the match, Luke Jacobs comes off as very sadistic. I love the sadistic aspect of him, that he's obsessed with this title, that he's not the athletic man that Doris is. He's not going to hit the 450s. He has a lot of William Regal, Dave Taylor, Fit Finley, even if we're going currently, he has a feel of Regal's son, Charlie Dempsey. It all feels very similar. He's a little rougher around the edges. He has a nice combination of Fit Finley and William Regal, which I say that with the utmost respect to both those guys and to Luke Jacobs. During the match, Jacobs actually tapes Doris's wrists together. And it's the most underneath fighting that you could do. Doris has to show that he can fight and that he won't back down when he has no hands. And during the exchange, Luke Jacobs goes to nail him with a chair, and Doris super kicks it and kicks it back into him. And Jacobs gets a little bit of color. When I say gets a little bit of color, he's one of those guys that when he gets color, that blood just flows down his face. It covered half of his head or half of his body, basically. During the match, after that spot, Doris actually gets help from a fan with the scissors to cut the tape off. I thought that was huge. I thought that was an amazing spot. I think it was very interesting to see how much the fans are behind Doris. And at the end of this, Doris hits a pile driver on Luke Jacobs, puts him on a table, and goes to hit a 450 off of the ladder. He does slip a little bit, but the commentators do a great job of covering up and saying that he was going for a flipping leg drop instead. It was a nice cover up. It's a nice little nod. And at the end of this, we get Doris winning the title after, I believe it's 5 attempts now, finally wins the big one. And the crowd is hot. They are so into this. They are now crowding the ring. He is celebrating with the crowd. He does a quick promo to talk about everything that he's thankful for. And I'll tell you what, they show almost as much time of him celebrating after the match as the match itself. And then as everything looks like it's about to go off air, lights go out, and here is Cara Noir, face paint back on, but with red around the eyes and the hair slicked back, and just grabs men like Doris and chokes him out. Hits him with that Black Swan sleeper and really puts him down, and then flips and bows to the crowd and then flips them off. This finish to the show after such a high, the commentators say it, and I agree with it. It sucked the air out of the room in what I thought was actually one of the best ways that you could suck the air out of the room. No one saw that coming. And now you've got the guy that you're looking to build up as the new face of your company. he is going to be set up to feud with the former face of your company or the guy whose shoulders you have been on for the last few years. And I'm excited for this. I love Cara Noir. I want to see where they go with this gimmick as a heel. And I'm excited to see what kind of experience Doris gets from working with a guy like Cara Noir, who has a ton of experience in this. It's a great way for them to really build this guy up and get him ready for an even bigger level. So, folks, that was Progress, chapter 183, high voltage, high voltage. That's right. It was super high voltage. I am Steve Zapf. This has been I Still Call It a Lariat. Please, Legion, thank you for watching as always. We love you so much. We have so much content coming out soon. We have so many things that are in the works. Please keep up with us. Come back. Always come back. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like so we stop doing it. Let me know why Mike is a jerk when he's not on the show. Let me know why you love Mozart, whatever it is. Guys, keep commenting, keep liking, keep subscribing. And as always, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.